Hello, happy new year, and welcome to a new installment of the Dirty Shoes podcast. I'm Chris, your fellow sojourner on this journey, this proverbial journey called life, where we kind of explore and take a look at all the lessons learned, everything that life is offering, every opportunity that life is offering us right now. It's a new year. As of the time of this recording, it's January 1st, 2024. I hope your holidays have been great, been safe, have been enjoyable, and I hope you're looking forward to the new year. I know I am. I'm really excited about grabbing the bull by the horns at this phase of my life. And I think if you're like me, probably if you're listening to this podcast, maybe you've heard something that kind of registers with you. Maybe you've kind of caught on that, hey, this guy sounds like he's at a phase of life just like I am, where the stuff that really matters, if I can put it that way. But again, welcome to another installment, our third installment, as I continue to try to find my voice, figure out how to do this. I think I said in the first installment, I'm not a podcaster. I'm a guy with hopes and dreams, of aspirations, a day job, and a family. But I'm at a point in life where I feel like the light bulb is kind of flickered on, and we've got some stories to share together. And speaking of stories, as I always invite you, if there's something that resonates with you today during this episode, during this installment, why don't you shoot us an email? That's dirtyshoes02@gmail.com. I love stories. I love hearing stories. I love learning from other people's stories. So if you got a few moments, drop us a line and, share with us what's going on and how it's resonated with you. All right. I'm going to refer to some notes today. This installment, I'm hoping that as I kind of share with you what I want to share with you today, that I'm not coming off as a wet blanket. Um, I know at the start of a new year, you've got all kinds of aspirations and hopefully you're optimistic about the new year. I know there's a lot of things to kind of challenge us right now. I know there's a lot of things to concern and worry many of us, but I'm a glass half full kind of guy. And hopefully you are too. And if not, hopefully by the time we finish our journey together, maybe you'll kind of come around to that way of thinking as well. But today, I want to talk about, I'll call it self-awareness, um, but I'm really going to go down the line of contentment. And what do I mean by self-awareness? I've lived long enough to understand that most of the time, money's not my problem. Meaning, um, it's always nice to have more money. Having more money is always better than having less money. But a lot of times we take an attitude where we have to chase more money. We have to, as they say, get the bag. I think that's the term that's being used right now. But there's a lot of things that go along with it. Opportunity isn't our problem. I think we've had a lot of opportunities come our way. Certainly, at this phase of my life, I've had some opportunities that I've taken advantage of. I think I shared that in our last installment. But there's been some that I've missed for whatever reason. So I don't think it's a matter of money or opportunity. I think that for some of us, maybe for many of us, you're feeling a bit of discontentment. You feel like you want more. You want to go to another level, and that's fine. That's fine. I want to go to another level, but there's something to be said about being aware of exactly where you are right now. Your position in life may be perfect for your level of talent and ability. Where you are right now, you may be exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you need to be doing. And it's easy to look, especially in this age of technology, it's easy to look at others. You can look at any YouTuber or any podcaster, any celebrity, any athlete, the list goes on and on. And it's easy to get into a what about me kind of attitude. But it's always helpful to consider what sacrifice, what's that sacrifice you've got to make to do that? In other words, what do I have to give up in order to get the corner office? And am I willing to pay that price? What am I willing to sacrifice for that 6-figure, 7-figure income that everyone talks about? Everyone's looking to be the next gazillionaire. But there's no such thing as a free lunch. And I think when we're self-aware, it's not that we are fearful. It's not as much about being complacent. We'll talk about that more in a second. It really is doing the cost-benefit analysis. What am I going to have to give up in order to get that? Is it going to be more of my time? What does my personal time mean to me? Is it going to be my family? How important is my family and quality time with my family to me? Is it going to be my own principles, my values, some element of my values that I hold dear that I'm going to have to give up, or at least give a portion of it up in order to chase that bag, or in order to seek that promotion, or go, whatever it is. I've been down that road, and I'll share a little bit about that in a second. But I want to talk about that a little bit. I think there's a lot to be said for an attitude of contentment. And what do I mean by contentment? For me, contentment by definition embodies gratitude. In other words, in my life, I've kind of come to a place where I count my blessings. I count my blessings, and I try to really take a look around me. I look at my house. I look at my car. I look at my wife. I really take it all in, and I say, man, I know there's more in life. I know there's that next adventure to be had, but man, it's a pretty good run. I'm having a pretty good run, and I know I'm farther along than what I was. Some of you right now, especially during the holidays, looking ahead, and maybe you feel like your future's uncertain. But if you take a good look around, if you really take an assessment of where you are, contentment says, I'm going to be grateful. I'm going to be grateful for not just what I have right now, today, but I'm going to be grateful for where I am right now, today. It doesn't mean that I shut the door on future aspirations, goals, dreams, future adventures. It just simply means that I take that daily assessment and I say, man, I may not be as far along as I want to be, but I'm a lot farther along than what I was. And contentment does that. And I think that's important. Contentment is always in the moment. And what do I mean by that? What I mean is, are you missing something that's right in front of you because you're always looking ahead, or trying to, I don't know, work your way into the next come up or whatever? Sometimes everything we're looking for is staring us right in the face. I've learned that through bitter tears. There is this movie I used to like. I'm a child of the 70s and 80s, and there's this 80s movie with Eddie Murphy called Trading Places, where these two rich guys have him. He's this street guy, this hustler, this, guy that doesn't have much. And he trades places with this, well-to-do rich guy played by Dan Aykroyd. And there's these two older rich guys that are behind the whole thing. And I'll never forget the scene where Eddie Murphy, he plays Billy Ray Valentine, and Billy Ray steps foot in his new house for the very first time. And he starts pocketing. All this stuff, ashtrays and anything he could fit into his pocket to steal out of the place. And these guys have to tell him, Billy Ray, this is all yours. You would only be stealing from yourself. I think sometimes when we are looking so forward or comparing ourselves to what someone else has, we rob ourselves of what's right in front of us. We essentially steal the moment from ourselves. Everything we have is right in front of our face. But contentment recognizes that, and contentment appreciates that. Contentment's always grateful, so it doesn't miss opportunities. I remember my first marriage, we were traveling from, I want to say we were doing a change of duty station. I was stationed in Florida, and I was moving my wife and my kids at the time, my wife at the time, back to California. And we're driving across country because we'd packed up everything and we're moving by vehicle. And I'll never forget, we got to this area. It was a crossroads, right? There's intersection. If you make a right, check this out. If you make a right and drive about 20 miles, you're at the Grand Canyon. But it wasn't in the direction I was going. Where I wanted to go, I needed to make a left. So I looked at it, and all I'm thinking about, watch this, I'm not in the moment. I'm thinking about where I want to be, where I want to go. And that's the only thing that's on my mind. And I'm not grateful for this opportunity with my wife, with my kids, this bucket list opportunity to behold the Grand Canyon, a 25-minute drive, and I'm there. 25 minutes and about $20 per car. But all I did was complain. $20 to look at something that's already there. That's highway robbery. No, we're going to make this left. That was, I want to say 25 years ago. And I haven't seen the Grand Canyon. I wasn't in the moment. I wasn't, we were having issues in my marriage. That's another story. We've all been down. Many of us have been down that road. But if I'd had an attitude of gratitude, I'd have made that right. I would have made that right. So I missed an opportunity. Contentment will cause you to be in the moment and say, you know what? This is just a break. This is just a pause. I'm still going to get where I'm going. I'm going to get where I'm going. Contentment is comfortable in its own skin. When you're content, you don't play the comparison game. If I can put it that way. When you show up at work, you're not in that kind of competitive jealousy or wherever it is, whatever you're involved with. Contentment says, hey, man, if I can put it this way, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Certainly, I have some areas where I can grow and develop, but I'm okay. I'm doing well, and I'm aware of those areas, and I'm looking to make improvement in those areas where I need to improve. But I don't have to get into the rat race, comparing myself to others. Contentment is proud of its own contribution and seeks to do it to the very best of its ability. Contentment recognizes, hey, I'm a part of a team, and what I do is unique, and no one can do it like me. And I'm going to get better, and I'm going to be the most exceptional person in my role that I can be. I don't have to have, I recognize that I'm not in the corner office right now, but I'm going to be the best player, the best team player that I can be right here in the moment. Contentment has clarity. You know, sometimes you've got to do the mental calculus. You got to know your own personality. You've got to understand your skill sets. You got to understand your value. And again, you got to take that self inventory. I remember in the job I was on, I had moved to where I am now, working for the same company. I'd moved from where I am now. I had been at a level of management, had my ups and downs, but I'd taken on a role that I'd never heard of before. But I knew what I wanted. What I wanted was to be in the city where I am right now. Move from out west. I wanted to be here where I am right now. And I'll never forget, I took this position, and within about a year, what I did was I recognized, based on my personality, based on my skill set, based on my values, and based on what was important to me at the time, this job was a gift. It was a step down from the level of responsibility and prestige I once had, but this was a great gift for me. And I'll tell you what happened in short order. Within about a year or so, I probably had 2 or 3 offers from my employer. Hey, what do you think about, moving up, going back into that higher level of management? It'll be more pay, greater prestige, and what have you. And I did the assessment and I said, thanks, but no thanks. Now, was that Chris being lazy or complacent? No. I was comfortable in my own skin. And most importantly, I was extremely effective. Are you effective in what you're doing? Sure, you've got the big promotion, but what's it costing you? And are you fulfilled? I once shared with a group, you may be making $15, $17 an hour where you are doing what you're doing. And sure, you can go after the $25, $35, $40 an hour job, but what's it going to cost you? What sacrifice are you going to have to make? And most importantly, based on your self-assessment, are you clear that it's a price that you even want to pay? I think you should think about that. I think it's important to think about that because you want to be fulfilled. And sometimes being fulfilled, again, doesn't necessarily mean you got the corner office. Have clarity. I think that's where I am at this point in my life. And I'm having a great time along the way. I'll say this, one more thing about contentment. Contentment's not complacency. I took some notes. Contentment reads, y'all. Contentment reads a lot. Contentment wants to expand its mental capacity, expand its emotional capacity, and reading and the arts and exploring things that are kind of outside your box, outside of where you've come up. That's how you expand your capacity. Contentment doesn't mean that you just sit on your laurels and say, hey, dude, it's all good. Contentment reads, contentment expands its capacity. Contentment experiences new ideas, new people, new things, food. You try food you've never eaten before. You go someplace you've never been before. That doesn't mean you bankrupt yourself trying to make it to Bora Bora or something like that. Maybe there's a place in your own city you've always wanted to check out, a museum, a guided tour, someplace in your own hometown where you learn and you grow and expand your capacity. Contentment says, hey, I want to grow. I definitely want to grow because there's nothing like it. Contentment opens up to smart people. It's teachable. I love learning. I'm learning every day. And I think, especially at this age right now, it's more important than ever that I learn and also apply the things that I've learned in my personal life. And so while I'm fulfilled at the level and I'm in the moment, I recognize that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be today, doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm looking to grow and to learn and to surround myself with smart people. I once told my son, who just turned 25. My son just turned 25 years old, and I've always told him, I always say, son, if you're always the smartest person in the room, you need to find new rooms to hang out in. The content person recognizes that there's always opportunities to grow, and he seeks them out with very smart people, because there's nothing more fun than being around very smart people. Contentment's open-minded, and contentment is always optimistic. It's never a pessimist. Contentment is never a Debbie Downer. So I want to encourage you as you go into this new year, be optimistic. No matter what's going on, be a source of light and encouragement and hope. It's served me well. It's kept doors of opportunity open for me, and it's made whatever environment I'm in that much more fun to be in. I may not necessarily be the guy in charge, but I can be an encouragement to that person that's in charge. And that makes the assignment, that makes the mission that much easier to pull off. I would say take an inventory of your life, take an inventory of your personality for 2024. As you go into this new year, I know that there's things you've got on your burner, things that you're looking to do, but take an assessment of exactly what you're striving for, and make sure it's exactly the right fit for you. I like this quote. I think I found this quote from Socrates. Here it is. It says this: "He who is not contented with what he has would not be contented with what he would like to have." So as you go into 2024, when's the last time you've done that self-check? When's that last time you've taken, as we say back home in Sunday school, when's the last time you counted your blessings? Grandma used to always say that. Count your blessings, son. Count your blessings. When's the last time you've done that? I guarantee if you do take an honest assessment, you're a lot farther along. You're doing a lot better than maybe what you thought you were. There's another bit of advice and counsel in the New Testament. It says, we want to be a good steward of what we have right now. Because if we're not a good steward of what we have right now, in terms of gratitude, in terms of contentment, in terms of being the most effective we can be right now where we are, at the level we're at, if we can't be content where we are, and we can't be a good steward of what we have in terms of, not just in terms of maximizing it, but being grateful for it, how can we possibly be a good steward if we're given more? How can we be expected to be a good steward over the more? So take inventory, count your blessings, do that reality check. Understand that contentment is not complacency, y'all. And watch what this year turns into. Be optimistic. Stay hopeful. Stay hopeful. And listen, I know I invite you all the time to share your stories with me, but if you just need a vote of confidence from somebody, shoot me an email, dirtyshoes02@gmail.com. I want to encourage you. Let's encourage one another, because we need one another, especially as we move forward. Happy New Year. I know I went a little bit longer than I usually do, but Happy New Year. Make it a great one. Take care.